It's here, people. The production of Willy Wonka, as of an hour ago, just ended. As you can imagine, this was a very emotional time, not just for me, but for everybody. So, what better way to send it off than just to tell you a few stories that happened? Of course, I'm going to be hiding everybody's names, so I'll just call them by their character names, because that's all you need to know, and I'll just be calling me as it's obvious. So, lots of stuff happened. First of all, we all got to know each other very well. We saw each other as very close, all equal. Even all the ensemble meshed well with our leads. There was no bitterness or rivalry between anybody. We all just had a great time and got along so well. But that doesn't mean that things went wrong. That didn't go wrong. Oh, they did. In fact, here's a little thing that happened. Opening night, my pants ripped. Remember that? I mentioned that in the last one? Well, that's not the end of it. A lot of more things happened. See, there's this little thing that we used to have. We kind of stopped doing it because we found out it was freaking out some of the younger kids, but there's this thing that we noticed. All the people who died who auditioned the day Gene Wilder died, they had something bad happen to them during the performance. Like, my pants ripped and my vest buttons fell off today, but we were able to sew it back on. Charlie got super depressed. Grandma Josephine's water bottle exploded. Mrs. Bucket, her squirrel costume, her ear fell off. Grandma Georgina's cigarette holder broke. Wonka forgot her line on stage. Mike TV, because Wonka was played by a girl. Mike TV, also played by a girl, forgot her golden ticket backstage. All of this weird stuff was happening, and we called it the Gene Wilder curse, saying, oh, Gene Wilder is attacking our show, and he's doing all these really weird, inconsequential things. Oh, Mr. Bucket got sick. Forgot about that one. But it was kind of weird. Yeah, I mean, I don't believe in curses, even though, you know, it's just kind of weird, you know? I mean, obviously, it's not a curse, but it was a little running thing that we had. The whole cast got to know each other extremely well. During the first time I went down the garbage chute, because we had this little slide thing, this little box, and then there's a ramp that goes up down the slide. The first time Veruca went up, she lifted her leg up wrong, and she had a dress on and ended up flashing the audience. This was during a dress rehearsal, so there wasn't really many people in the audience. But I had the other problem. I got on fine, but when I went down, I lost footing, and I had banged against the wall. And there was still skid marks from where the thing moved. So they had to stop the run-through, and I had to make sure I was okay. Really, I could go on for hours talking about the show. As I mentioned, this was great, and I'm really going to miss it too. These are some of the best people I've met in a long time. Not only that, it wasn't just a play. We also were a family. And I'm not the only one who thinks this. We always addressed each other as families and stuff. We're very close, and that's not just me who said that. Like I said, we all did it. Every single person did at least once. And we're also very deep into our characters too, so even when we were in our characters, we were still close. Like, we developed little inside jokes, like Mrs. Gloop and Mr. Salt always tried to compete over who was the better parent. Mr. Salt flaunted his wealth in the Bucket family's face. Charlie and Mike TV were trying to hit it off, stuff like that. It's a bunch of small things like that, because we really got driven into character, and it was a lot of fun. But back to the family thing. When someone had a problem, everyone did what they could to fix it. Whenever someone was happy, everyone else felt happy. We're all very in tune, and these are some of the nicest, most honest people I've met in my life. And it's the first time I ever felt like I really belonged somewhere. I mean, at church, it's great, but there's still a lot of cliques there. School, a lot of the people are awful people. They're people that make fun of the Down syndrome kid and foreign exchange students with thick accents. They're awful, awful people, and I don't care if they know that I say that. If you're one of those people who go to that school and you're seeing this video and you do that, you are terrible. I'm gonna just say that right now. But these people, these are my kind of people. They're nice, they're kind, they're open, they love the same things we do. We all have a lot in common. We all want to stay in touch after that, and of course, because we got so close to this with each other and everything, and emotions ran high today. It was our last show. We could all tell everyone was kind of on edge because we didn't want it to be over. In fact, I kind of did this little thing because everyone was really sad that it was closing, and what I said is, because I knew that I was going to have an emotional moment, which I'll get to that in a minute, but I said if I don't acknowledge that it's closing, it's not actually closing, because I knew that if I did, something would happen. So we do this thing before we go on called focus, which I mentioned last time. That's when my pants split the first time. That is when we go in and do focus games so we can help get into character and stuff. Instead of that, our director came in and said some words and sent us off. And that is not what I needed to hear at the time. I mean, it was fantastic to hear what he had to say. Our director, I'm going to go on a little bit here, but he was, again, the best director I've ever had. He was nice, he was friendly, he was super outgoing, but he also got to the point and told us exactly what we needed to know at all times. If we did something wrong, he'd tell us, but he'd tell it in a really nice way, and in a way that we would really understand. He'd always, like, observe our character traits and our personalities, and then he'd explain it in a way that would best suit us. That is what a director should be. That is a director that I've never had before. One whose type I've never had before, and I'm sad that I won't be having him again, because I looked up at the roster for the studio, and he won't be doing another one until, like, next year. But that is not what I needed to hear for the emotional state. I'm like, no, please tell us later. And then during focus, eventually, I cried. I broke down in tears. I couldn't hold it anymore. Candyman, you know, the person who sings it, "Who can take the sunrise?" It gives Charlie the Wonka bar, again, played by a girl. She looked over and saw me and just kind of saw that I was about to break down. And then, because instead of the focus games, after the director came in, we said what this show has meant to us, and I couldn't hold it in any longer. Because, like, I was wiping my eyes clean, my eyes were turning red, and I just lost it. So, I was able to compose myself by the time we went on, but even then, a few people were getting emotional while they were off stage, and then during the last number, right before we went on, a few of us started to choke up a little bit, myself included. But then when the show was finally over, like during bows, Wonka, Mike TV, Charlie, a lot of us ended up just kind of, we lost our grip. But I came close. I didn't actually do it that time. I did it before. It was cool. But this has meant a lot to us, and the director gave me this note. Still haven't read it yet, but I was thinking I could read it with you guys for the very first time. Oh gosh. Congrats on your hugely successful run as Mr. Salt. You really brought it. It was hilarious. Thank you for bringing your comedic skills and eager energy. You rock. It's been a joy to work with you. Congrats again. All the best to you. I'm sorry, guys. It just really meant a lot to me. Okay, I promise myself I would do this on camera. But this was more than just a play to me. I'm gonna miss all these people. We have our cast party tomorrow. Maybe I'll let you know how that went, but for the time being, it was great while it lasted. I'll see you guys next time.